Alright, I'm going to show you how to put camber kits on a 2001 Honda Accord, 98 to 2002. It's basically the same thing. I think it's pretty universal though for most Hondas. They all have this similar type of suspension setup. So here what we're looking at is the upper control arm, and here's the upper ball joint. This is what we're going to replace out with our replacement camber kit. And here it is. I'm using Specialties, and this is what it looks like. You got an adjustable camber kit here. It slides back and forth, so you can adjust negative or positive camber, and that's what we're going to replace. So what you're going to need for this project, you're going to need a nice mid-sized sledgehammer. 1 to 5 pounds would be good. You're going to need to get a ball joint press. This is what this is. I got it at AutoZone, $106. And then you pay them, and then once you're done, you bring it back and they give you your money. It comes with 3 of these. This is the one we're going to use. These 2 pieces. You're also going to need a ball joint separator. I think that's what they call this. One side's flat, the other side's curved, and this will help you separate the ball joint. And it comes in handy. I just suggest buying one of those. You're going to also need a 17mm socket wrench, and then a nice washer. This hole is not bigger than the socket wrench hole, so it fits on like so. You don't want the socket wrench going through the hole. Okay, so you're probably looking at this picture and saying, nah, that doesn't really look like my car. One thing I did was I took my shocks off, my strut and spring, because I'm replacing them. They've got 70,000 miles on them, and it's time I put a new, it's sitting over there. I'm going to put it, I got my new Megan Racing coilover shocks. I'm going to be putting that on the car after this. Maybe I'll make a video of that. But you can still do this project even with your shocks on, so have no fear. So what you're going to do is, what I've already done is, I removed the cotter pin from here. I just snipped it off with my wire cutters, because you're supposed to replace them with new ones every time you take them off anyways, and it's a pain to get them back on, to reuse them. Plus the replacement kit comes with a new one. So just cut it off, don't worry about it. Then undo the bolt. Took the bolt off. And then once you do, what you do is I prefer to use the flat end right here. I take that, and what you're going to do is you're going to slide it in between here as far as you can, and then you're going to just pound on this end very carefully with that sledgehammer. And you're just going to keep pounding, and eventually it separates. Then you're going to take off this 3-ring cotter pin. Just get your needle nose pliers, grab one end of it, and slowly circle it around over this, and it will come off. And take this grease and dust cover. It says, I don't know, just a plastic rubber cover. Take that off as well. So then you're here, and it's separated, comes off just like that. But now I'm going to show you how to put the ball joint press on this. Okay, this is going to be kind of tricky to show, me holding the camera and not having an assistant. So I'm going to just show you in parts, and hopefully you can get the idea. You're going to take this part. Notice this one pops out. It's not concaved. The other one is concaved. So take the non-concaved one, the one that pops out. You're going to see this lip right here is going to connect. It slides right in here and locks in place of this C-clamp looking shape. And then the concaved one, you're going to have this part, it connects right in here onto the part that you swivel up to tighten it. You're also going to get, I got the medium size ring here, and the reason why is it fits perfectly. I need that light. It fits really well over here on top of this part. You'll see it fits right on top there. It's not too big, not too small. So we're going to use that one. And what this one does is it ends up it just fits on right here. See, it's got several lines on it. And that's how you're going to set it up like that. And when you're putting it on, what you're going to be doing is you're pushing the ball joint, you're pressing it out this way. So you want the clamp to come on here and then slowly push it up, press it up. So now next shot I'm going to show having the clamp already set on and me starting to press it up. One thing I want to note though is that 17mm socket is what you're going to do is you're going to first put the washer on here, and that makes it so you can actually see this is kind of bent here, and I just found it really difficult to, while it was pressing it kept falling off, and so I just put the washer on here like this, and then it pushed on it equally. And why 17mm is because the 17mm fits perfectly in this hole. It's just a nice fit. Okay, I finally got it on. Took me about 5 minutes, and I say that only because I've done this before. This thing is heavy. This thing right here it's just a heavy C-clamp. This is a lot of metal. It would really help if you had somebody holding this upper control arm and then actually holding it for you so you could then not have to worry about keeping it pushed up while you're working on the car. And what you want to make sure is it's all straight lined up, that this pin coming down is not bent over or anything. You want it perfectly straight, and you want to make sure this doesn't go past the lip here. You want to make sure it stays on and that it's not pushing. There's this top circle of the ball joint. You don't want it touching that and prohibiting it from being pushed up into this capturing chamber. So it's all on there nice and good, and that's fitting in there nicely. So right here on the bottom I've got my adjustable wrench, and so what you're going to do is you're just going to start grabbing it and you're going to start just tightening it up. Oh, see, you need two hands. You need one hand to hold this up here. You're going to be holding this, making sure it stays in place, while the other hand's tightening it down there. So I don't know if I can actually show the process, but that's what you do, and you're just going to keep tightening and tightening, and it's going to keep moving and moving, and eventually this thing pops out, and basically this whole thing will probably fall down, hit you on the foot, you'll swear, but you'll have it taken care of. One thing I ended up doing was cutting a dowel so it would hold up the upper control arm while I was tightening this, and that really helped. And one thing I also am doing, you can tighten it eventually, but eventually you're going to need to put a cheater bar. I got this lead pipe that I put here on my wrench, and that'll help when you're screwing this to really get some leverage. One thing you can also do is put a 7/8 socket wrench on the end. It fits on this, and then you can put your 1/2-inch drive wrench on and put your bar on. If it's hard, sometimes it's hard to move around this tie rod here, and you keep running into the edge of your wheel well. So I found that just extending it a little bit longer so you can get underneath all of this, and so I can just swing this underneath the car now. Yeah, that really helps. Okay, and I was able to push it out. It popped right out. Now once you get to the very end, it'll start getting easier and easier to turn. I'd just say be careful, because this whole thing's gonna possibly come falling down. So watch your toes. Make sure it doesn't fall and damage any, especially this. You don't want it to damage this inside here. You got some sensitive gears. You don't want to have it hit this really hard. So make sure. It would be ideal if you had somebody else working with you on this. I mean, pieces fell over, that piece fell all the way over there, so just keep that in mind. So this thing's going to pop out, and there's the washer on it. You can see it got. Another note, I ended up using a smaller, I know in the first video I showed you I had a longer 17mm socket, but I ended up using the smaller one. It worked better. Okay, so what I did is I took the top bolt off, which just fits snugly into this washer, and you got this bottom part here. You're gonna notice that the bolt is offset. There we go. The bolt is basically it's closer to one side than the other. And what you want to do is you want this bolt, the closest side here, it's got the short side here, not the longer side here. You want this bolt to be closest to your car when you install it. That's so you can adjust for positive camber. And I know most of you have probably lowered your car so you have negative camber. If you've gone and got an adjustment, they'll probably tell you you've got a like negative 1.5 or negative 2 depending on how low your ride is. So you're definitely going to want to adjust for positive. So if you have the bolt set back, it allows you to push out the farthest amount. If you did it the other way, you'd be able to adjust for more, to get more negative camber on your car, which I'm sure you don't want. So one thing that's important to note is you'll see this piece here fits snugly in here, and you have this basically direction going here. And what you want to do is, as I explained before, with the regular ball joint, is you want to make sure that this goes the same direction as this dot right here. That's the dot right up there. You want it to go just in a line like that. So you're going to have it set, and you want to make sure it's not off at all like that. You want it to be in a nice line so the bolt will be able to fit in there and slide back and forth smoothly when you adjust it. I just got something straight, and I found the dot at the top, and I just made a line going the direction with a permanent marker. I made a line so I know that it's going to be going, it's lined up straight here, and just make sure that I know exactly which way is straight, up and down. I also put a little fresh grease in here to help it so when it's pressed in and it sucks up quicker. So now what you're going to do is you're going to set this piece on top. Make sure it's lined up with the mark back there. See, if it was like this, that'd be off. You want it exactly in the middle there. You're going to want the bottom piece. It's going to line up just right with it underneath there. You're going to also want to make sure this lines up in the groove. There's this groove that it sits in. You want to make sure when you install it that it fits in the groove and it's not sitting on one side or the other. Okay, it's in here. You see it slides back and forth. It comes down, and if it doesn't, what you want to do is you're going to want to work it in so it lines both pieces up. And if it's not lined up with the mark, you're going to want to turn this piece. Then you're going to have to push this back and forth till it lines up both the top and the bottom part. And you're going to want to do this over and over and make sure it's nice and you think it's right on, because once you start tightening this down and it starts sucking the bottom part up, it's going to be in there. And then the only way to really get it out is you're going to have to use this nasty thing to press it out so you can put it back in straight. Here I'm on the other side of the car, just because I'm tired of making this video. I want to show you I got it in here. It adjusts back and forth. And the way you're going to be able to make it so the screw fits through the hole in the bottom here is you got to put a jack underneath the lower arm here to be able to lift it up so it's straight on, so the screw will come down through. So when you press it, it'll come down through so you can get the bolt on. And that, my friends, is how you